Jesus, I hate this camera. I really do. All right. We're live.
You ready?
We're ready. We're live, man. We're going.
Okay. So, what's up, all you vigilante comic fans out there? Back with another edition of the CryptoComics Couch, formerly known as the CryptoComics Marketplace.
We're still known as the CryptoComics Marketplace. We were told that us voicing out our personal opinions needed to be under a different name because communism.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Well, we break down the comic landscape and let you into our world. So, I'm your host, Matt Russell.
I'm the weird tech guy that just sits in the corner of your screen, Andrew Frey.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about today. There's been a lot of different stuff going on, kind of in the comic landscape. First off, CouchCon. Yeah. Fry, can you tell us a little bit about that?
No, why don't you say something for once? Man, you always get me talking. I mean, look at this room I'm in, man. I'm like right in the middle of redecorating. I got like vents hanging off the walls and stuff. You're like, hey, Fry, why don't you tell everybody about everything? No. No, this is a terrible opportunity. No, yeah. So CouchCon, yeah. One of our really, really awesome creators that's in the system, Vivid Publishing. A lot of people know him by Dreamkeepers, a lot of the other books they've got. They put this event on. I want to say it's the second year, if I remember right. We made the announcement last week, so we're good to go now. But CryptoComics will be sponsoring the event this year, which is pretty rad. We're very excited about it. There's going to be some awesome panels coming up. I'm not sure which ones they've done full announcements on yet, so we have to kind of watch ourselves. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we got quite a few of them in there. A lot of these are going to be absolutely sweet, especially considering we may have a couple in store. That being said, we are actually planning on doing one with some of the creators that are inside of CryptoComics. I do not want to make any announcements for that specifically yet, but stay tuned because they're going to be awesome, because they are awesome, because they're handpicked by us. Yeah, so that's just a really cool event. A lot of cool stuff going on with it. As you can kind of see on my screen here. I mean, everything from marble racing to the puppy shaker chat and draw. What's really going to be cool about it is a lot of the panels and the people that are going to be involved in this, a lot of these are vendors, artists, creators, comic book authors, comic book artists, publishers, kind of everybody from the industry all coming together. If you want to think about it, it's kind of a digital version of one of the biggest artist alleys I think I've ever seen. I want to say right now they're right around 160 creators. Matt, you might have to correct me if I'm wrong on that.
I thought they added quite a few more, but
there might be, man. They're on fire. And of course, everybody's seen like the digital Comic Cons going on this year. It's kind of not anything new as far as this year with the whole COVID situation, everybody being locked down. All the Comic Cons that we wanted to go to kind of being called off and stuff at the last minute. So we've seen a lot of creators do this. What makes CouchCon a little different is this isn't the first time they've done it. And these guys that are putting it on, they really understand, the vastness of their demographic. Being that everyone right now has the ability to just kind of hang out at home and watch the streams and check out the different panels and stuff. I mean, so far it's really adding up to be pretty cool. All weekend long, there's different creators talking about, world building, different art styles and, how-to videos all the way down to rants and raves type of sections. We will be doing an Ask Me Anything during it, which will be kind of neat because this will be the first time we've done an AMA, which we're a little terrified about, to be honest with you, because people have a lot of weird questions sometimes, and I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I don't think anybody else is, kind of a thing.
No, I am. I am. So just to let everybody know, that's June 25th through the 28th. Yeah, we have the link, couchcon.org. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be super cool. Hey, Brendan, what's up, man? Got people talking in the chat already.
All right. What's up?
So, so we've got that. Spiriting off of that, one of the really cool things that I've seen that they're doing with CouchCon is trying to bring a lot of the, how are we going to word this, Matt? A lot of the
I don't ever know what you're
side
gonna say.
and this side together.
Yeah.
Right now?
There's a lot of different personalities and everything, styles, everything that you can think of. Genre is kind of mixed in there. So.
And Matt actually recently did a blog post about some of these things, and I think right now is the perfect time to throw him under the fire. So, Matt, why don't you tell us about your newest blog post?
The newest blog post. Oh, so you distinctly want to talk about that one. Okay, we discuss Comicsgate. That is a tough one because there's a lot of different stuff out there. Kind of on the subject, both pros and cons on either side. So we broke it all down. Let me pull up.
You know, I don't think anybody that watches this Monday show really wants to go into those details. They want to know where you fit in this, Matt. How do you feel about Comicsgate? In your soul, Matt.
That's kind of a tough one because
I'd like you to go on record.
Some good things that have come out of this, and there are quite a few bad. Personal feelings aside, I mean, we have the social justice warriors on one side. Then we have the more traditionalist on the other. So, yeah, I've talked quite a bit in my blog about diversity just for the sake of diversity. I hate it. I hate it. It gives me a reason to actually like a character. If you have a character who's well established, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, stop switching them up. Now, it did make sense in Spider-Man's case, to switch that up with Miles Morales. It worked out perfectly. Same with Green Lantern. I love, those characters when they can actually change up everything about them. Now, as far as some of the other stuff going on in Comicsgate, you have the how do I word this without getting
I don't know.
checked?
I don't know, but I'm gonna enjoy it either way.
You have the progressive politics of it all, and I'm not a huge fan of how do I word this, man? You're killing me.
So I think that right there is the biggest problem with anything, is that no one can talk about this. I mean, I told you flat out right after I read this blog before you had posted it that the very first thing I think I even said about it was, "Oh God, what are you doing?" The problem is that no matter which direction you look on this subject, right now people are so divided. Whether it be politics, whether it be science, whether it be...
When it comes to politics, though, the comics have always followed politics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since the beginning. But back then it was a lot simpler. You had Superman, Captain America, all of them fighting against the Nazis. And everybody could get behind that. Nowadays, you have so many different, you have the left, the right, the far left, the far right, the conservatives, the independent, the Democrats, Republicans, constitutionalists, Tea Party movement. There's just, it's insane.
Right.
Who who actually sets forth the politics? And it comes down to whoever's the loudest, really. If I create a story that goes against the right wing, I'm going to get, blasted by the right wing and drummed out of the industry. The same with the, far left.
Right. And to go into that, I mean, we've already got Brendan here in the chat says, tread carefully or counterculture will get you. And then he put, no, which I just automatically imagined Vader screaming no. And I know that I'm not supposed to, confuse things because we're talking about a very sensitive subject, but there's always room for Vader.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Say what you
but then you move into the oppressed demographics, right? You have blacks, minorities, women, LGBTQ. I think that's the whole.
We're not gonna try that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with everybody, just so that nobody thinks that we're being heartless here. I am what's called a dragon dad, and I'm very, very proud of that. That means that I do have an offspring that identifies. We're gonna put it under the gay flag. We'll word it that way without putting out too much stuff on my personal life or my kids. But we basically aren't allowed to say all these letters because we're gonna upset somebody, and we get it. We understand. It doesn't matter what demographic you're a part of. You're always gonna feel like there isn't enough or a strong enough voice to back it. So one thing I did want to point out really quick before we get too carried away here. Brendan says the lizard overlords, and unfortunately, I've seen way more arguments for the lizard overlords lately on my Facebook than I have for anything else. I'm starting to look into it. I'm just saying, man. Let's see. And Tesla says LGBTQIA plus. Yeah, see, that's the first time I've heard that one, actually, with the QIA on the post of that. But yeah, so really, I mean, what it comes down to, the way we look at things, and again, this isn't a political stance for a company, guys. Don't try to take words out of people's mouths. Don't do that.
Yeah,
the thing is that I enjoy the idea of 5 people talking about what they care about and what it matters to them. And I absolutely love and adore and cherish the fact that we have built a marketplace where anyone can do that. Everyone is on an even playing ground, just so that everyone is aware. We, in no way, shape, or form, stand behind anyone independently. We prefer to stand behind everyone as a group. The thing is that, the louder that conservatives are, then the louder, the liberal side is going to be. And the more noise that everybody is making ultimately ends up good for our entire industry. It's going to bring attention to comic books that people wouldn't have normally seen.
That's not always the case, though. So every time that Marvel and DC, the big, the two big guns, they try to really switch everything up, it actually hurts comic sales. Look at the Marvel now. Look at, I hate to bring this up, that 5G.
I knew it was coming. This is how you can tell that he's a DC fan, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter. I could honestly tell him and be like, hey, it sounds like somebody's bringing Hitler back from a cryogenic state, and he'll sit there 5 seconds later and go, did you hear about 5G? Did you hear about this? Did you hear about what DC's doing? This is a terrible idea.
Wide extent, but they're backtracking right now. Jim Lee is like, no, we're not changing any of the legacy characters, but under the direction of Dan DiDio, it was starting to be changed. So now there's been a lot of political moves from AT&T. So who knows what's really going to happen?
Well, here's the thing, though, too, is when you've got a piggy bank that big, you have to be terrified. I mean, you have to. No matter what, you're walking on eggshells.
Mhm.
And that's not something that's really that great, but it is something that's good that, money needs to be kept in check in any
Oh
industry.
yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not totally against that. My point was just that the more people that are talking on social media, the more people that are,
Mhm.
promoting a book or hating on a book or hating this character for so many reasons or loving this character for those same reasons is just people talking. And I think that, people don't realize just how political comics have always been.
Mhm.
Um, our entire industry revolves around it. What most people don't realize is that one of the reasons that, Kirby and Lee and those guys, one of the main reasons why you know who they are now isn't because they made these prolific characters that turned into multi-billion-dollar movies, 60 years later, 50 years, whatever. It's actually because they just went against the status quo and they did what they wanted to do.
Mhm.
They wrote storylines that went against the current political movements or went for current political movements. Um, having the KKK
Government
as an
actually
enemy.
shut down for a while.
What was that?
Uh,
Sorry, you cut out
the
just there.
government ended up actually shutting that kind of whole concept down for quite a while
Mm-hmm.
because they went so far against the status quo and politics.
Right.
Uh, yeah, that's kind of the creation of the Comics Code Authority, which, by the way, nice shirt. I love that. So it just goes so far back into history where even Superman was
Mm-hmm.
more of it was kind of an original social justice warrior in
Mm-hmm.
a way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, where the government was like, no, they specifically made stipulations saying that nobody can go up against the government or say the government was wrong
Right.
in combat or ever.
Mm-hmm.
That stemmed from Superman. So nowadays, now that we finally got freedom of speech back with the Comic Code Authority being kaput, um, it's weird that we can't say what we want to in comics.
And
We
see,
can't take a political stance.
I would argue. Well, let me ask a question that goes into what you just said. Actually, do you mean us as a company, or do you
No,
mean
no. I
anyone
mean, me as
individually?
an individual.
Okay.
Me as a
I would argue that you probably can more so now than ever before.
well,
Um,
let's okay.
I
So you're
think.
if I wrote a pro Trump comic, you're
Mm-hmm.
telling me the Democrats wouldn't, have it out for me?
I'm sure they would.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I mean, absolutely they would.
Okay.
But
So you're telling me that after, if I did something like that, I wouldn't be
mm-hmm.
accused of, hating women, um, hating
Hmm.
minorities, and I hate to say it, I'm kind of in one of those minority groups, but they won't
Right.
care.
Well, a I think it's also very safe and intelligent of us to assume that nobody has to care. But the thing is, yeah, the thing is really is that that's not new. That's
I
been
know.
around. I mean, I've got Obama with Ash from Evil Dead on one of these shelves in here, and I loved that storyline. And
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean?
That was
It wasn't about
such a
politics at that point. Yet people were still upset when they came out with it. When Obama was on the cover of Wizard, people were very, very upset. Um, it wasn't, this isn't anything new. I think that the difference is that people are more comfortable voicing their opinions on social media, and they're more comfortable standing up against others' opinions. And people are a lot more boisterous than ever before. I mean,
explain the whole Marvel's milkshake brigade.
I ain't touching shit there. I ain't saying anything. You know what? Here's my 2 cents on that whole situation was honestly that I saw a group of women that were into, making comics. They'd all done very, very well and successful for themselves, celebrating on social media.
Well,
I'll be honest with you, that whole milkshake brigade thing just confuses the crap out of me. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why anybody had an issue with it.
exactly. So these girls from Marvel,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we should probably explain that to everybody that might not know. Oh, hold on one second. Let me catch us up in chat here. I'm sorry,
okay.
chat. I've been slacking a little bit. So Brennan says, you'll leave someone on, or you'll leave someone out, then you're an a-hole because you didn't want to include someone. I only say that because of what I've seen on your page. True. Everyone gets upset. I have to be everybody's friend. I don't know why. I'm not really sure why anybody likes me, to be honest with you. Some people are watching this from my page. I don't understand why. The next comment. The views and opinions expressed by these two lovely people are not necessarily the views of CryptoComics. Boom, you're welcome. And thank you, Brendan.
That's true.
And now I'm very happy that you were actually a winner of one of our giveaways because obviously we were paying it up front for what we owed you. If DC did a Justice League versus 5G. Oh, why did I read this one? If DC did a Justice League versus 5G, I may not fall asleep during that movie. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like that I agree with this, but I do actually. Let's see. Next comment. Backlash isn't necessarily equal to an inability to speak on it. That's true. On the same token, that's most definitely true. A lot of people are scared of the. I hate using this word, but I think it's the only one that really touches base. But the whole online bullying aspect of things, the gatekeeping, especially, the gatekeeping in our industry is the one thing that I see. For example, we do a lot of comic conventions. Normally, right now we're just like everybody else, hanging out at home. But normally do a lot of comics conventions. And one thing I will honestly say that I've seen that is the one negative aspect of our industry is the gatekeeping. That doesn't speak on Comicsgate specifically, although that's where the name is derived from. But more than that, you get a lot of people that just feel like if you don't know every single Bronze Age story arc, then you're not a real comic fan. Or if you, oh man, and then on the opposite side, and these ones, I hate to even say this because I love indie creators so much, and I love indie storylines, and honestly, the very best comic story arcs I've read, hands down. It
feels like that's where you need to go to get a good story,
right?
To get an
and story. It's been indies for the last 15 years. It's been indies, even. The guys that are doing something good now with the big three and things like that, big four, they were indie creators 6 or 7 years ago, and most of what they're doing now is just regurgitating those indie stories that they made because someone like Marvel wants to play it safe. You know what I mean? Do what's going to make you money. Put big ass shoulder pads on everything and let Rob Liefeld draw feet. That's the answer.
Man, you got to bring up my man Liefeld. Come on now.
I'm just saying it's a recipe, and in the indie demographic, you don't find that recipe very frequently anymore.
Yes,
you see,
every once in a great while, the top brass will actually shine through. I mean, look at what. Kingdom Come, Alex Ross. Remember that?
Yeah.
Phenomenal story. I love that story. And they created, what was the bad guy, Magog? Based him off of everything wrong in the industry at the time. I love that. And just everything was so pure in that comic. And it was such an original idea. I loved it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of few and far between these days.
See, I disagree. There hasn't been a single convention that we have gone to that I haven't found at least one new story that I just get all all over.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the big two. You know, that's
Yeah,
where it's few.
yeah,
Indie,
and that's what I'm
that's
getting at is
that's where you're gonna get all the pure comics, the great storylines that it's phenomenal ones.
but do
Just
you
look
think
at
that
Mike
Marvel and
Scott.
DC, Boom, Image, Dark Horse, do you think all these guys would have anything that you would remember over the last 5 years if you gave every indie creator the exact same time frames and budgets?
No,
Yeah, see, I don't think there's anything at all that would stand above what's coming out in indie. Um, I'll say this, like, Chad Harden, excellent artist, love his stuff, but
mm-hmm.
you read the stuff that Chad's done with, DC, and yes, he's the artist, so he's not always in charge of the writing, but I mean, we all know that the art and the writing have to, have some level of symmetry and work together.
Mm-hmm.
You read that stuff and it's good. It's something you remember. It's something awesome. But you read something like Temerity, where it's the same guy. It's the same awesome level of writing. And I believe that one's Gemma Young that wrote that. And correct me if I'm wrong, though. I'm almost positive. But you get that, and you realize that without those strings kind of doing the puppeteering action and saying, oh, you need to stay within these gates and you need to do all these
Mm-hmm.
things and you need to go along with these storylines because we know that this recipe is going to work. Like, that book's rad. That book is friggin' amazing.
Well,
And I'll be
the
honest with
main
everybody, Temerity is not in CryptoComics Marketplace. We've been harassing them nonstop to try to get it in here. So I don't think that I'm trying to promote something based on our own, egos. Temerity's just amazing. It's a badass book. It's awesome enough that I believe every one of the owners of this company, we all independently, without speaking with one another, backed their Kickstarter because we all liked it that much. And out of the four of us, not one of us has an identical enjoyment in comics. Not even one of us.
the main difference between those, just the DC Comics and something like Temerity,
Mm-hmm.
is it's the passion behind
Mm-hmm.
it. You can see, the art, the
Mm-hmm.
different. Yeah, hey, he's getting paid to draw Wonder Woman, but
Yep.
at the same time, now he's getting, just that level of this is mine. So
That's a
there
good
is a
point.
difference.
Yeah.
We can see.
That is a very good point. And quite accurate. Yeah. Um, so the only way to tell is to give every indie creator a DC contract. Let's go. Um, I don't
Oh
know.
boy.
Let's see. Let's do this. Right now we've got quite a few people watching this across the different platforms. So let me take an opportunity to make sure that I say, make sure you like the video, subscribe to it on whatever platform you're watching on. We appreciate it. So
Oh yeah.
let's do this. Let's have some fun with it. First comment that says sticker, I will personally mail you a couple of stickers. Let's just see if people are actually paying attention. This could be fun. We're not going to wait because there's a little bit of a delay, but I'll keep an eye on the chat. And I should clarify really quick, first person who comes through on the chat saying it. I don't want to hear anybody be like, I said it 15 seconds before, but I'm in Zimbabwe and my internet's not as good. Like, come on, dude. First person that I see, we're good. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's switch up gears here just a little bit.
Okay.
Yep, this is on YouTube, Brendan.
Okay.
Right now, to answer Brendan's question, he said this on YouTube, Andrew. Right now, we are streaming live at this moment on Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, a couple of different creator groups on Facebook. And then we're being sub-hosted by a couple of other places, as well as sub-broadcasted out by a couple of other spots, different creators that work with us, different platforms, things like that.
So we do have some.
Tesla got the sticker. That's Tesla. She got a sticker.
And whoever comments it first is clearly on 5G. Don't get me started on 5G again. All
Okay,
right.
so I want to go straight to the news, but I want to touch base on something that isn't being listed in the news here, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's the most important thing. So I'm going to do my due rights as the creative director for Crypto Comics Marketplace
Okay.
and
Let's see what you got.
step in front of the notes here. We talked about this last week, but
Mm-hmm.
something was announced over this week that I feel like we have to speak of. The the Forbidden Cut is being released. Um,
Ooh, yeah.
Not only that, it's
Oh,
being released on HBO now.
Max. HBO Max.
Is it HBO? Let's look that up. Let's look that up. And I want to say they are calling it the Snyder Cut.
Yes.
I think officially they are actually calling it the Snyder Cut, which is amazing. Um, let's see. Let's go to Screen Rant. I trust them a little bit better than Cinema Blend, but Zack Snyder's Justice League is officially coming to HBO Max in 2021, but many details about the Snyder Cut's ending have already made it online in the last few years. When the DC Extended Universe began in 2013 with Snyder's Man of Steel, a great show, um, it was the beginning of Warner Brothers' own DC cinematic universe that would build up to the iconic heroes coming together for screen in the 2017 ensemble. Following the release of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, things were drastically being altered and the scene or behind the scenes in a way that would deeply affect Justice League. After a tragic family loss, Snyder stepped away from the movie as Josh Whedon stepped in to wrap it up. So, so that anybody that doesn't know Josh Whedon, the reason you might know his name is he's the reason a lot of the Marvel movies have been doing so good. He's the guy that kind of really brought that whole kind of 80s vibe to the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. And he's
Directed
amazing.
Avengers. Did I believe he did Avengers: Age of Ultron as well? Didn't
Yep,
he?
yep.
Okay.
Um, and ever since then, he's had his hands in everything to the point that now um, he's essentially in command of Marvel, which is nuts to think about. So that's great. That's cool. The thing is that a lot of people did not agree with the changes that he had made. Zack Snyder did go public and said, how did he put it, Matt? Do you remember? It was a couple of years ago, but he did say, "Yeah, my cut was a little bit different. That's okay though.
Yeah.
It happens."
Well, there was some stuff in there that you're watching the Justice League movie, and there's some stuff that you're like, that's just Joss Whedon's sense of humor, like
Right,
the
right.
scene with the marker Barry Allen with the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it turns out that was actually Zack Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't Joss Whedon. So I thought, oh wow, that was kind of stupid, a little weird to add that in. Um, I don't think bringing on Joss Whedon for the Justice League was the right move due to the fact that, the tone was so different than everything he's ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I am extremely excited for this, for the Snyder Cut. That being said, Ray Porter has come out and said that he had filmed a few scenes as Darkseid,
Which is cool.
specifically ending and the beginning. So,
And
oh,
see, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna say it. I think the best movie that's come out for the DC side of the argument has been Brightburn, and nobody even wants to talk about that movie.
I love that movie.
And yeah,
That
I
was so fun.
I think if people watch Brightburn, and just to be clear, in case you didn't notice earlier, this is what you'd probably call more of a 18 plus type of conversation. That movie is definitely more of an 18 plus kind of a movie. Um, don't Please don't listen to what I say and say, "Oh, Fry on the CryptoComics thing said that this was a great Superman movie for my kids to watch," because I didn't say that.
No, 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 no. But it
Don't.
was a great Superman movie.
Yeah. Um,
uh, he just wasn't Clark Kent, but it was so
oh,
awesome.
it was. Yeah. And the idea that at the very end of that, there's Easter eggs that show they were planning on doing the entire, universe that way. I was just Like, that would have been so cool. So cool.
Yeah.
And I think that Warner Brothers should just ran with that idea. But instead, they all but removed their name from it. They wanted to play safe, you know, and I mean, that movie is going to be a cult classic forever, no matter what. I mean, I've never met anybody that's a comic fan, Marvel, DC, indie, whatever, that hadn't watched that movie and said, yeah, that's rad. Let's see. It looks like Brennan said, whoever comments first. Oh, yeah, we already read that one. Okay, cool. Thanks for kind of wondering what you're all on. Yeah, thanks for asking, Brennan. We're supposed to announce that, but I forget. Brennan says, I still need to see it. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, it was so good.
Damn,
So
and
good.
you can probably find it on Netflix or something now. I mean, that's a couple years old, but I mean, it's pretty brutal. I will say that it's quite a bit gorier than what you probably expect. But it's got a rad storyline, and it works. I mean,
basically, the way I look at it is if you had Superman without having Clark Kent.
mm-hmm.
So it's.
I look at it as if you gave Superman's powers to any child.
Yeah.
I mean, love the idea of an anti-Superman. So that's what's interesting. I don't want to go too much into the movie there, but it is not an anti-Superman type of character. It's kind of a Superman never existed, but this is what would happen if one of my kids had those powers. Kind of a thing. I'm just, dude, I wouldn't trust my kids with it. Can you imagine that? Like heat vision. I'd be like, dude, you know, go put your laundry away. Bing. Oh God. You know what I mean? It'd be terrible.
All right. So something else that happened recently in the news.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby Rose.
I love her. I love Ruby Rose. Ruby Rose.
So, she quit.
I know.
She walked out after the season. She's done with Batwoman, and that. When they first cast her, I was like, okay, I am 100% behind Batwoman. I started watching it, and I was like, it's starting to finally find its footing. And I'm like, okay, it's getting good. Done. Not the show. They're going to recast her.
Mm-hmm.
So, come on. She was the best thing that happened to that.
Yeah. I will honestly say that I really enjoy watching Ruby Rose. I don't think she was the best actress.
You were in love with her.
Everybody is.
She was your Hollywood crush.
Who isn't? Who isn't in love with her? Have you seen John Wick? Come on. She didn't even have to speak in that.
Oh, she had like 3 lines, didn't she? Something like that.
Well, I mean, like sign language lines, but she didn't even have to say anything. You know what I mean?
Meg, she was in that. It was weird movie. My son loves sharks, so I watched it, and she was pretty good in there.
I hate sharks. God, I hate sharks.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
you know, after watching Jaws when I was a little kid, I couldn't even swim in a swimming pool.
That's why I hate sharks, is because I watched Jaws when I was a child. If anybody's never seen Jaws as a child, build a time machine, go back, and then give yourself like terrible, terrible nightmares the rest of your life. It's fun.
You know, looking back, man, that movie did not stand the test of time when it comes. The graphics, horrible.
I don't even want to try because I wouldn't care. I would still be so scared because I was so terrified as a child.
The old miniseries,
Oof.
Recently.
Yeah.
I'm talking recently watching it.
It scared the crap out of me too. But I read the book. And when I was little, and like, dude, I'm telling you, the Paul Bunyan section of that book scared the crap out of me. And it still does. Speaking of which, I actually picked up one of the last remaining Marvel Dark Tower books that I was missing. Very excited about that. So, let's see. Yes, Ruby was in Orange is the New Black, and that's when Tesla realized how in love with her Tesla is. Okay. I mean, yeah. I don't think you're alone in that sentiment. Brennan says that Brightburn is on Amazon if you do a Stars trial for free. Hey, thanks, Brennan. Was really hoping that would be Megalodon. Brennan says, why would you want a Megalodon? Dude, that shit's terrifying. What else do we got in the news here? Because we got to quit talking about sad stuff like my girlfriend quitting as
So,
Batwoman. Um,
okay, switch the
Reporter.
subject a little bit. Let's actually forget the news.
Oh no.
We have
Oh no.
the comic books referral program.
That's true. So this would be system
So,
news.
yes,
Hmm.
yes, system news. Okay. Now, how it works basically, this is the only online platform where a comic book shop can actually make money off of online comic books.
Yep. So one thing that's been going on lately, that everybody knows about is with the shutdown, with all that kind of stuff. Comic book shops are getting killed out there, guys.
Left.
There's no polite way of putting it. There's no nice, happy. It's gonna be fine. It's not, man. For a lot of these guys, it's already too late, and that's terrible. It sucks. Um,
Actually, in the blog, I did write about one that's doing pretty good.
yeah, some of them are making things happen. I've seen a lot, even local to us, that are doing drive up
Hmm.
drive up comics, curbside services, stuff like that, which is great. Um, but the thing is that most people don't realize comic shops don't normally make that much to begin with. 99.9% of these people are doing it because they love the industry, not because they're
Hmm.
going to make money off of it. I would go so far as to say that flat out, I'll bet you at least 90% of comic book shop owners have a secondary job just to cover their bills. I mean, and that's across the industry. I will admit, most artists aren't full-time artists. Most writers aren't full-time writers. Um, but most people don't think of the comic book shops when stuff like this happens. It's not an essential type of business, is one argument that you'll see a lot. But it is one of those things where no matter who you are, if you're a part of this industry, you've got a part, position in your heart for them. And it's funny because we've had a lot of creators, a lot of end users, a lot of fans that are in our system that even people at conventions. And Matt can talk about this too, but we've had people come up and they're just like, oh well, you guys are kind of taking out comic book shops, and what are they going to have? If the used comic book market can go digital, then how does a comic book shop survive? And what's funny is that you guys don't realize that's where we grew up, man. Like we don't want our local shops to close. There's no way. Like
No,
you know,
I'm
one
down at the local comic book shop a
yeah,
lot. Just, I love talking with the other fans, picking out
right.
my favorite comics, and there's just it's so fun to just hang out and
Mm-hmm.
talk with like-minded people. You get rid of the comic book stores, and where do you have? Like, I'm not going to go to Barnes and Noble and hang out, at the
Mm-hmm.
Starbucks talking with other comic book creators. That's just not how it works.
I mean, I'll go anywhere and talk to comic book people because I'm an ass
Well,
like
I'm
that.
saying
But
they're not there.
yeah, the way, yeah, the best way I think I've heard anybody speak to this is that you can order any comic you want off of Amazon, but Amazon isn't going to ask you how your mom's doing.
Hmm.
Um, and when it comes to floppies, when it comes to physical books, that's something that's very very important. And as we're in an industry that's clearly migrating towards digital, we wanted to figure out a way that we can kind of work with comic book shops rather than against them. The nice thing
Exactly.
about our platform is that it doesn't bar them from using our platform. It doesn't bar anybody from becoming their own publisher. It doesn't block anybody from publishing. It doesn't block anybody based on a political stance or the things we were talking about earlier with the Comicsgate information. We literally are everyone's comics to the point that that's on a lot of paperwork. So um,
Oh yeah.
it's it's important for us to make this announcement because we have had a lot of creators and people that were interested in having something like this, to the point that we extended the beta of the system in order to properly facilitate the software that was going to be needed to run and drive this. So good news for everybody that's currently in the beta. You have a little bit longer. Bad news for a lot of creators that wanted us to come out of beta immediately. But I think that they are all in agreement that this comic books program that we've kind of come up with the creators is going to be, for lack of a better term, kick ass for everybody.
Oh yeah.
So let's see. Should we just do a breakdown, I guess, real quick, because people might have some questions
I
here.
think we should, first off, I just want to say one thing that I do know a lot of comic book creators. They usually do meet in the comic book shops
Mm-hmm.
and with other kind of indie creators and create their own comic. Um, this is a chance for the comic book store owners as well as those indie creators to really come together and really save the industry that I
Mm-hmm.
love so much. I mean, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't 100% in love with comic books.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Now, for the breakdown. Okay.
So we're not going to
Uh,
go into super high details here, just because there's a lot of information to go over. I did put a link in the chat, so if anybody would like
okay.
to check that out. One downside with Facebook, guys, I apologize, is that Facebook does not allow restream writing. Currently, they seem to be having an issue, so you may not be seeing the links that I'm posting up in the chat. But if you would like to go to this page, it is cryptocomics.com/comic bucks, all one word.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually see it on the screen right now during the stream. As a quick overview, what we're doing is we're splitting up the way that the sale works. So, for example, the pie chart that you see on your screen right now.
Before we break this up, let's
Mhm.
talk about how it's normally broken up outside of the industry or in
Mhm. Yeah, we can do
kind of
that. Yeah, go ahead, man. That's a great idea.
okay. So, oh, sorry, stupid alarm.
Hey, it happens.
If I have a comic book for sale, I
Hmm.
actually I'm working under contract for one of the major comic book industries. I'm actually getting paid on a per page basis.
Hmm.
Now, I don't own the rights to any character or anything like that. So
Hmm.
once I get done with that initial contract, I don't care if my story gets now adapted into the television as well as movies. I don't get
Hmm.
anything extra
Hmm.
from that
Right.
unless for some reason, by the grace of God, they want to come down and you know what? Here's a bonus. I get none of that.
Right.
Or unless I'm the one contracted to adapt it into a movie. I'm actually the one getting contracted to write the script. Then
Hmm.
yeah, we'll get extra money off the script, but it's a standard fee. It's not any royalties or anything like that.
Right.
Okay, and you're barely. Let's face it. If you're really good and you're working for one of the major comic characters, I'm a artist. I'm producing about a page a day.
Hmm.
So I'm only getting, if I'm really good, 150 a day. There are other contracts, but okay.
Right. Yeah.
Now let's break in how we handle everything.
Okay. Yeah. And one other thing to add on to what Matt was just saying is that that is on the original sale of the comic.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go further into that here in just a little bit, but keep that in mind as well. You get paid once. So in our system, we take the breakdown, and first of all, 80% is going to royalties now. What that means is that the creator of the comic, and who we see as the creator is the account that is originally uploaded that comic. And we're going to keep saying comic book here, but this is going to go the same for comics, art books, digital storybooks, anything you can imagine. If it's an asset in this system, we just prefer to
I
call it
got it.
comic books because it's a little simpler.
Yeah.
Say that one more time, Matt. Sorry.
I was saying, even my daughter even has a book of poetry in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So yeah, which is pretty cool. So 80% of the royalties is going to go to the original creator right off the bat. That's the first thing that happens in our software and in our system. What that means is that if I make a book or an asset, say I sell it for $10, $10 worth of Ethereum in the system, we'll say, to Matt here.
Nice round number, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get $8 just right off the bat. Now, the nice thing is because we are basing everything on the blockchain, this is automatic. This isn't something that's being passed through different people's hands. This isn't anything that's, oh, we get paid the 10, but then we'll cut you a check a little bit later for 8. It's instant.
Yeah.
The nice thing about cryptocurrencies is that it is a blockchain ledger, which means that there are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of different users and computers and systems out there that are keeping one another in check. We have absolutely no way of mitigating or changing any of this information, which is what makes crypto really, really special. I.e., nobody touches your money but you. I mean, that's the best way for us to put it. So 80% of it gets cut directly to the creator.
Yes.
Then after that, 10% of it gets cut to CryptoComics Marketplace. That is us.
Yeah, it's $1 for us.
We
for the creator right off the bat.
So that everybody knows what we are using that money for, is to keep the system going. We are very, very, very heavily invested in this, to the point I don't want to put dollar amounts out there or anything like that. This isn't a investors meeting or anything like that, but the amount of work that has gone into this system would probably make a lot of people kind of pass out from just how long this has been going.
Developer hour.
Yeah, we are close to. I want to say we're getting right up to the 2.5-year mark from when this actually started as code to where we are at now. This isn't something new. The other companies that are involved in this process are all software marketing companies. So again, for a lack of a better term, we know our shit. And that's why we're building it the way we're building it. That's why our beta is lasting as long as it is. We are slowly onboarding creators. We're making sure that all of these things work. We aren't just going to flip the lights on and have 10 million people run in, because that's when mistakes can happen. So yeah, the 10% is going to go to the CryptoComics Marketplace. That's how we keep our lights on. That's how we keep the system being updated. That's how we market the books that are in the system. That's how we market on behalf of the creators that are in the system. And that's a cost of business. Now what's going to happen?
Other online comic book kind of retailers, I should say, that they take you as the creator, instead of the 80%, would get 45% minus credit card fees. 30 days after each quarter ends, you would get one check. And
this is a high point. This is if you're selling a lot of books. So the creator's got to really be moving some books to get these numbers. Most indie creators, if you're in this industry, you definitely aren't making 40% of cover price. A lot of times, places like Diamond, things like that, they might be, but you aren't. Now, where Comics Bucks comes in is what we've done is we've taken the remaining 10% of the sale, and we have split that apart based on the account's history, who's signed that account up, how that account is currently operating inside of the system, and we're going to say, who they're friends with. Is probably the best way to term this. So in the pie chart that you see here, we've got Priya, we've got Rob, we've got Jose, and we've got Rob again. In this situation, Rob was a user in our system and invited Priya. Priya was the one that sold this comic book. So Lizzie, as the creator, gets 80%. Rob was the reason that comic book came into the system by inviting Lizzie, by inviting Priya. And what happens is, I'm going to break this down a little differently than it shows on the pie chart, but what happens is if I invited Matt here into the system and Matt decides he wants to publish a comic book, I am actually going to receive 2% of that sale, just as CryptoComics' way of saying thank you for helping us get creator content. Thank you for helping us get new creators, and to thank those creators for taking a chance with their friends, things like that. This works out really well again for the comic book shops, because a comic book shop can sign up anyone that comes and goes into their comic book shop. So if Matt here owned a comic book store, I went in and Matt signed me up for CryptoComics, they're now going to earn a residual income off of any of the digital books that I buy. Where this gets really cool is that the way that we've designed this system, as you can see, we've got Priya, Rob, Jose, and Rob again. We've set up this system so that anyone that's got any part of that sale is actually going to get a kickback. That means that since Matt owns a comic book store and I signed up underneath Matt, if I go and I sign up a creator, Matt is actually going to still get a little tiny bit of a kickdown just as a thank you for that. What this does is it allows a comic book shop to run a digital front the exact same way they're used to doing business for the last decades, over decades. You know, anytime one of these books sells, they're going to make something off of it, and it helps give them residual income to help them keep their doors open and help get them a bite of this pie that is digital. Now, what's really, really cool about this is a lot of people know this about our system because everything runs on blockchain. I can take that digital asset and resell it. And when I resell it, when I resell it, that original creator gets paid again. And then if Matt resells it again, that creator gets paid again and again and again and forever. As long as that comic book is running in the system, you're good to go. What's really beautiful about this is that it's not just residual income that you have to work your butt off for every single week to get a kickback the way some other platforms work. What this means, what this means is that creators, comic book shops, well, creators specifically, obviously, 80% creators who were really, really, wanting to say thank you to, but the creators, the comic book shops, the publishers, the platform enthusiasts, which is, the fans that are going out signing up other people or telling other people, hey, look, I really like your comic books. Go check out these CryptoComics guys. Here's a link. It allows everybody to get involved with this, and realistically, we've actually talked to a lot of fans that love this idea just because they really enjoy the idea of being able to sign up their friends and getting a little bit of a kickback so that they don't have to pay for comic books anymore. So that they can, because you can, so that everybody knows, this comic books program, when it pays out, you absolutely can use it to buy more comic books in the system. One thing that creators can even do is they can buy their own comic books in this system in order to resell them and double dip and do things like that and cash it out, to real world money. So that everybody's aware, everything in our system does work off of Ethereum. We may open that up to other blockchain technologies in the future, but I will say that right now Ethereum is the safest, and it's most definitely the fastest for what we're doing with it. And what's really cool with CryptoComics is that this is the first time anybody's ever done anything like this. Taking a digital media and turning it into an actual valued asset using cryptocurrencies. So it's pretty cool. Kind of altering the state of media for sure. And as everybody can see, with us being locked out, how many times have you bought a digital movie on Amazon, watched it once, and never watched it again? Or a comic book or anything like that. Think about it the same way, but you can turn around and resell it. It's that simple. Let's see. Rogue Tyrannus is now following on Mixer. Thanks, Rogue. Appreciate it very much. But yeah, so that's kind of how everything breaks down. With the resells and everything. It's pretty exciting. It's cool. And we're going to be, touching base more on that. If you guys have any questions, always feel free to hit us up, whether it's on social media, whether it's right here on the platform. Sign up for CryptoComics.com/pre-sign up. You can get yourself an invite to join the beta. Right now, during the beta, you don't have to pay anything to read the comics. All we're asking you to do is test out the system. Let us know if there's any bugs. Let us know if there's anything we can improve on. And
please leave reviews for the comics
reviews.
that you read. I mean, these reviews, once we actually move out of beta, everything will kind of get reset, and you'll everybody will need to start purchasing all the comics with Ethereum. That being said, the one thing that is going to stay in place are the reviews. So please leave reviews.
And it's a cool thing to do to kind of high five the creators. You know what I mean? For letting you check out their stuff.
Give them a shout out. Check out their stuff. I mean, it's really great stuff. Me personally, I've been reading a lot of like the Wrath of the Titans from Tidal Wave Comics, also Music Makers, and we actually just did a Music Maker.
I do that every time. I do that every time.
We did that on the interview. We just did an interview with these guys, with her, and we kept calling it Music Makers. It's Music Maker Comics with an X.
And we apologize, SK. I know, we're terrible.
Awesome interview. Great lady. I've been reading a lot of like her stuff. I love it. Wrath of the Titans by Tidal Wave. Just great comics. What about you, Frey? What have you been reading in the system?
In the system, Music Maker. I mean, we did the interview with her, and I've just been like so all over it. It's such a cool book. So checking that out. The other one that I have been reading a little bit inside of the system is, excuse me, I have to cough real quick. Excuse me.
Oh, he's got the corona.
He's got it. Put him down. Let him go.
Sorry, he's got it again.
The other one too that I've been reading is the XCT. The Spartacus Zero issue. This one somehow slipped underneath my radar, and I just came across it and really enjoyed this one. It's pretty rad. This week's been kind of busy though, so I haven't been doing quite so much reading. I know, it's terrible. But we have the CouchCon coming up, so we gotta get everything knocked out for CouchCon. And remember, guys, we're gonna be posting the crap out of that, so be ready. Whole weekend event. We'll be co-hosting every stream that we possibly can on there, so that everyone can kind of see it and make sure that they get broadcast out as well as possible. Let's see here. Oh, you've been reading Batman Who Laughs?
Yes. Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, it's Batman Who Laughs. Okay. The only complaint I've ever had about the whole Batman Who Laughs is how the hell does he see? I'm asking you.
Was it sonar?
I don't know.
I mean, how do bats see in the dark?
Well, Batman still had the what is that metal thing over his eye? It
depends on which friggin' story arc you're talking about with Batman. One of them, he's got actual sonar. One of them, it's like weird devices. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
You know what? But I am worried about oversaturation of that one villain. They did it with the Joker, where just everything became, who's the bad guy of the month? And I'm really worried that, hey, they got a good villain now. They're going to use him to death.
Oh, well, I mean, that's kind of what DC's doing when they get anything that works.
Yeah.
Death of Superman. Yeah. Death of Superman. Sorry.
Oh. Hey, I got the poster right here.
Yeah.
It's signed by Dan Jurgens himself. So, yeah.
You know what's funny is lately on, like the Facebook Live kind of sales and stuff, you see everybody where they're like, oh, I've got a Death of Superman and it's still sealed in the plastic. I want $150 for this. I'm just like, bro, really?
I got 4. Hey, so we got some new people joining.
Hey, Zolog is on. That's kind of funny considering I was just talking about his comic book.
Okay.
What's up, Zolog?
How do you pronounce that name?
Zolik, I think. Man, I asked last time, but shoot, I'm gonna butcher everybody's name. I don't care. I'm so lucky that my name didn't have a weird spelling or something. I butchered my own name. Terrible.
And looks like my cousin joined, Chris. What's up, Chris?
Nice.
All right.
So yeah, I think that about rounds everything up. Make sure you go to CryptoComics, follow us, like us, subscribe, high five us, do all that kind of stuff.
All right. Well,
been a long weekend.
Yeah.
We're tired.
For watching the CryptoComics Couch, formerly the CryptoComics Market Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out, some of our other videos. Give us a like, subscribe, whatever.
Send a care package of goodies, sweet and treats.
Yes. Diabetic for a reason. Okay. Tell us what you think.
So, are we going to not be visited by your corn dog this week?
No corn dog. I ate right before we started the video.
All right. Sarah McLaughlin will have to wait for another week.
Oh, I still can't believe you did that. Okay.
That was brilliant.
Anyway, stay connected. We got a ton more content coming out for you with the blogs and, all these videos.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see y'all later. Much love.